know what the problem is, and you've taken real substantive steps to solve the problem, and nobody cares to hear that. What do they even say? What is the suggestion that you have that they should have changed their messaging on?
I don't think they need to change their messaging. I think they are pigeonholed into this image of people who don't care about the border, despite having tried. And I think even if it is immoral, it was a good move by Trump to block the bill because it allowed him to be able to campaign on this issue and make Democrats look worse. And
in today's video, Destiny debates, or at least thinks he's debating, Abba from the Abba and Preach channel. You'll see what I mean as the clip plays. Destiny and Abba discuss border security, and to Abba's bewilderment, Destiny goes on some unhinged, irrelevant to the conversation rants. With that, let's watch Destiny lose his mind and eventually walk away from the entire debate as Abba tries to figure out what the hell is going on.
The question the thing I was gonna say to you is saying, you keep repeating the fact that people don't care about the border. And the reason they don't care about the border is that when Democrats passed or tried to pass that bill, Republicans killed it and nobody was really mad at them for it.
Sure.
But my point is that fact is irrelevant to the general population because, again, the facts don't really reach them. They don't really believe your fact. And their feelings around immigration are still valid. When I say valid,
sure. I'm sorry. Let me clarify real quick. Let me clarify. When I say they don't care, what I mean is like this wasn't anywhere near like the top motivating issue. Like it's down there. It's around the edges. Like a whole bunch of other stuff is around the edges. It just wasn't the big motivating issue. Like people care. It's a minor issue compared to everything else.
Do you not think it was like a top 5 issue to people?
I think that people said it was a top 5 issue. I think maybe they cared about like the messaging around it and everything. But I don't think that I don't think they cared about the issue itself directly. They liked the messaging around it. But
that's crazy to me because almost every election all over the world, whenever the conversation is centered around immigration and stopping the influx of people, it is literally one of the most pivotal things for most campaigns.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but the problem is that Americans have no idea what it looks like to have rough times with immigration. We have no fucking clue what that looks like.
Did you all know that Destiny is so smart that even though you may think you believe something, he knows even better what you really believe? Like when he just said there that Americans thought they cared about the border security issue, but they really just liked the messaging. What kind of analysis is that? So that's a valid debate strategy that just everyone was wrong. And now what you're going to see, you just saw a little bit of the beginning of, is he's going to go on a tirade about that Americans have no real understanding as compared to other countries, the major problems that can arise with illegal immigration and an enormous influx of illegal immigrants coming into a country unchecked. So basically what he's saying, clearly demonstrating that he's smarter than all of us again, is that because other countries have some very serious societal issues with illegal immigration problems, Americans aren't allowed to take issue with the problems that they have in the United States. Makes a lot of sense, right? Of course it does not. And one thing that, to no one's surprise, Destiny is missing because he can't fathom that other people can think for themselves, is that maybe Americans see the problems that allowing large amounts of illegal entrance into a country have over a long period of time, and most Americans don't want to end up having extreme problems like other countries do. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Our Muslims here are chill as fuck. Even our illegal immigrants work here. Like, our immigration here is crazy. We integrate people like insanity into this economy. In Europe, in Sweden, you get people shipping in boxes of grenades because they live there for 2 years and they're not even allowed to get a fucking job. And the welfare states are insanely high in a lot of these European states. European countries legitimately have large issues relating to welfare states and huge influxes of immigrants that they take in. We don't have these problems in the United. A U.S. citizen has no business even pretending like he knows what rough immigration looks like. We have no concept of that in the U.S.
Right now, you're doing the whole comparative suffering. You're like, oh, people have it so much worse over there, so you have no right to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
All right, go ahead. Virtue signal.
no,
Go ahead.
Your own perspective.
No, go ahead.
what
Do it.
happened?
Hit me up with that big virtue signal. Yes. I'm sorry. Americans deeply care. That 4% unemployment was brutal for us. I don't know how we even survived with all those illegal immigrants stealing all those bountiful jobs in California in agriculture. Like, man, that really hurt the average American a lot.
I'm not trying to virtue signal. I'm not trying to tell you what these people are thinking is logical or whatever. What I'm just trying to say is they feel it regardless.
I know they feel it, yes, because the Republicans message on it. But I'm saying there's no real way for Dems to counter message on it. But I'm saying that all of this is superseded by things like inflation. If homes were more affordable, and if people or people felt like homes were more affordable, and if people felt like prices and wages were more congruent, then they wouldn't give a as much about it. That's why conservatives have doom scrolled or doomsayed about the border and caravans every single fucking election cycle. Sometimes people care about it, sometimes they don't. I think it just depends on how the economy's going. Like all the same bad messaging. Right?
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Immigration was there for fucking COVID, and before that, all the same caravans and the same crazy fighting age males were coming, but they didn't seem to care as much about it then. So I just think these are like secondary or tertiary.
Okay, I would agree they're secondary. You're right. If the economy is good, I don't think they're going to be concerned about these issues. But because things are not good, it becomes not a primary issue. It becomes almost 2 or 3 on the list. It really does, because they're looking for justifications for why their lives are not good.
Yeah,
okay?
I agree.
And you could talk about the economy, you could talk about tariffs, but all these concepts are irrelevant to the average voter. The average person will never understand tariffs. They will never understand what these things imply. They want somebody to blame. It's impossible for them in their heads to understand the concept of tariffs or how that works. So instead, if you tell them it's the people trying to come around their border, it's the people trying to steal their jobs, it's the people trying to rape their women, and you give them stories about that.
I don't disagree
That's
with
all
this.
they're
I
gonna
don't know.
fixate
Yeah,
on.
I don't disagree with this. I don't know what you want me to say about this. Yeah.
No, but my whole point is you're making it sound like it's not a major issue to them, but in their head they've convinced themselves it is.
The reason why I'm saying it's not a major issue, you were, I don't even know if we disagree on this. You said that people are looking for somebody to blame, which definitionally makes it a secondary issue because there's a problem that they feel like they have that they're looking for somebody to blame that problem on. If the problem isn't there, then they don't blame the immigrants. That's my feeling. So, like, if people felt like the economy was doing better, if inflation wasn't as big a deal as it was, then people wouldn't give as much a fuck about the immigrant thing. But when that stuff starts looking bad, well, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, the immigrants are taking our houses and our jobs and our welfare, and that's why everything. So that's what they point to, I think.
Okay. Do you feel like, since it wasn't a real issue, the Democrats were a bit virtue signaling by trying to appeal to the center or the right with their immigration talk? When they were talking about the border, they were trying to pretend to be tough on it as well. They were pretending it was a serious problem. That's what they were talking. Were they trying to meet those voters where they were at?
No, I think that Democrats do the opposite of virtue signal. I think Democrats fuck signal themselves. Democrats have been incredibly, like Piers likes to bring it up every time. Obama was hated by a lot of Latinos for his positions on deportations and his position on the border. But Republicans have still deluded themselves into thinking that Trump came into office to crack down on immigration after Obama. That's just.
I have a serious question. Who is he so angry at? Is he mad at conservatives like he usually is? Is he mad at other countries that have immigration problems? Is he mad at ABBA? I don't get it. And here's why I said in the intro that Destiny thinks he's in a debate, because I think ABBA just thinks that they're having a conversation, but Destiny's clearly in debate mode because he's so worked up. Why is he so angry? Is that just his baseline demeanor? So again, he says that voters care about the border because conservatives told them to. So I don't understand the argument. The right wing wants to secure the border. Are you suggesting that since we don't care if Trump just gets into office and forgets about the border issue completely, there won't be any repercussions for him for that? That's ridiculous. We all care about the border. To sit there and pretend like letting tens of millions of unvetted people come into our country doesn't come with a litany of problems is crazy. I could sit here and list all of those problems, but I'll just say this. Do you think conservatives had to convince the families of Aiden Clark, Rachel Morin, or Laken Riley? Do you think they had to be convinced or tricked into thinking that border security is an issue? Or is that just ridiculous Republican messaging too, Destiny? And I have to say, he used 2 terms I've never heard in my life, so maybe you guys can help me out in the comments. I don't know what doom scrolling or doom saying is, but is he going to tell us that conservatives are the ones that are screaming like the sky is falling about the border? Do conservatives bring up that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy and the end of our country? Do conservatives want to spend trillions of dollars to save the world from climate change? Is he serious? The Sky is Falling Act is literally straight out of the Democrat playbook. He's so disingenuous. Oh, yeah. And then he said, the Democrats don't virtue signal. The Democrats F signal. I don't have a clue what that means. Maybe he just wanted to curse at that moment. Again, maybe you guys can help me in the comments. I don't claim to know it all, but I do not know what F signaling is. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Not true. This is delusional, like non-factual stuff. So no, I like the idea. I don't even think that Democrats tried to virtue signal. They tried to policy change on it. They literally tried to pass legislation to change this. I don't know how. I don't even remember them talking about immigration that much. I feel like it didn't come up that much as a Democratic talking point, just kind of as a conservative talking point. But even for the conservatives, I don't know if immigration came up as much recently. I feel like it's all been centered on the economy, and then immigration is just kind of like tossed in there as like a secondary thing.
Yeah, no, I think leading up to the election, like the first last 4 weeks, I think you're right. Before that, I think it was like they just wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. I agree, Democrats weren't trying to lead with that, but they were constantly asked about it, and that's where I would hear Kamala or Wallace's responses to these things. It wasn't something that they were necessarily leading with, but they were some that they were constantly being asked about, and there was some that they were constantly being critiqued on.
Sure, but when you've tried to solve this problem, when you know what the problem is, and you've taken real substantive steps to solve the problem, and nobody cares to hear that, what do they even say? What is the suggestion that you have that they should have changed their messaging on?
I don't think they need to change their messaging. I think they are pigeonholed into this image of people who don't care about the border, despite having tried. And I think even if it is immoral, it was a good move by Trump to block the bill because it allowed him to be able to campaign on this issue and make Democrats look worse. And unfortunately,
I guess the elephant in the room is, where in the heck did Destiny just go? But before I end this video, I want to say this. I can't tell you how sick I am of hearing this stupid border bill argument, and that Republicans don't care because they didn't want to pass this quote-unquote bipartisan border bill. Someone should have shut this down a long time ago in the media, like a politician or political analyst or something. As always, we want to hear from you. What do you think? Why is Destiny so freaking angry for nothing in this video? And what are your thoughts on that border bill? Am I missing something? Was it better than I'm advertising? I honestly don't know how it can be. With maybe there are parts of it that I'm not understanding, but I just think it's a weak argument. But let us know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. As always, we really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.